And
Yes.
make sure your background noise doesn't become a disturbance to the co-learners. And but however, you can ask questions. You can even stop me if you have a doubt in between. Ultimately, we wanted to see to that you all turn out to be some of the best yellow belts in the world, right? We want to see all of you on the top 10% of the yellow belts in the entire globe. That's our motto. I'm sure you all will cooperate with us, right? So the first module is introducing all of you to the world of quality and to the world of lean and to the world of Six Sigma. That's going to be the first session. And thereafter, you will be learning the methodology of Six Sigma and then various tools and techniques by which you can effectively drive Six Sigma projects and then produce the results. So introduction to quality, lean and Six Sigma. Even before getting into the subject, I would like to highlight few important points. Already, I could understand from all your statement. All of you are here for a good reason. All of you are here for a very good reason. And you all wanted to accelerate your growth. You all wanted to accelerate your growth and you wanted to see yourself in managerial and leadership role. So in that context, first let's understand what actually makes us successful. There is a famous book. Some of you might have read it. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, written by the famous author Stephen Covey. More than 30 million copies got sold. Even the number is 5 years old. The latest number could be much more bigger. So, you know what Stephen Covey has written? He was suggesting 7 important habits, which are very, very essential, for an individual to become successful in his life. Anybody would like to make a guess? What are those habits or skills? Any idea? Anybody would like to make a guess? Or if you have read the book already?
Continue learning.
Continuous learning. I really appreciate the answer.
Never give up.
So never give up. Very good. Never give up. Good. What else?
Discipline.
Yes, Rahul, you're saying something, but there is some noise coming up. Discipline.
Positive thinking.
Positive thinking. Thank you all for the contribution. And
So being proactive.
wow, fantastic. Be proactive. And I think Rahul, from your side only the noise is coming. You need to be on mute. Rahul Walia. Please.
Yes, sir.
Please.
So due to some network issue, I was not able to listen.
Oh, but we are able to listen to you very well. Lot of noise coming from your side. Please mute yourself. I think now I can mute you. Done. Thank you. And check your audio device. Disconnect the audio device and connect it again. You will be able to listen to me. And anyway, recording is going on. So these are the points Stephen Covey was suggesting. Point number 1, you need to be proactive. Point number 2, you should always begin with an end in mind. Prioritize. Learn to prioritize. Always think win-win. Listen to get listened. Synergize. And then sharpen the saw. What does it mean? Proactive means you don't have to wait for the failure to happen in your life. Instead of that, you can try to prevent the failures, right? So any work you do, you can always be well prepared. That means you are proactive. So point number 2, begin with an end in mind. Let us say we all want to go for a tour. We all wanted to go for a tour after the course. What is the first thing we should decide? We should decide on the destination. Am I correct? If the destination is clear, then all else can be planned. How can we reach the destination, right? And what should we do? And the best route for reaching the destination, the best mode of travel, all those things. All those things can be decided correctly. But if you are not clear about the destination, and nobody can help you. Hope all of you agree with me. If you know where do you want to reach, where do you want to land, yes, definitely people around can help you. But if you are unclear about your destination, then nobody can come and help you, right? So that's the second point about. And third point, prioritization. What is prioritization? First things first, which is most important to us? Life is, always full of choices. Imagine you get, multiple job offers. After the A-level course, you get multiple job offers. Now, which company or which job offer you will choose? That leads to a situation that requires prioritization, isn't it? And similarly, in a business, multiple contracts, multiple problems, multiple solutions. Whenever there are choices, you need to prioritize well. Am I correct? Whenever you have some choices, you should be able to prioritize well. And fourth point, think win-win. Always, any environment must be a win-win environment. Imagine you are starting a business, you are launching a product, and your product is priced at 1,000 rupees per unit. The cost of your product is 1,000 rupees. It is priced at 1,000 rupees. And customers who are buying your product, they find it, much more valuable than 1,000 rupees. They feel it like, it is worth 5,000 rupees. But how much you have charged them? You have charged only 1,000 rupees. Is it the customers will be happy about the purchase?
Yes.
Obviously. When you are making your customer feel 5 times value of the money, you also remain profitable. Is it really creating a win-win scenario? The buyer is happy, the seller is also happy. This is called win-win scenario. If you can create a win-win scenario in any business, the relationship can go on in a long-term basis. Right? Otherwise, in all other situations, win-lose, or both of them are losing. Customer is unhappy with the purchase, and you are also under loss. What is the situation that leads to? Lose, isn't it? And nobody will like such scenario, isn't it? So always try to create a win-win scenario. To whomsoever you are collaborating, like the employer, he is happy about appointing you, and you are happy about working for such a company. That's a win-win scenario, right? So similarly, try to have same scenario even in your personal life. Your parents should be proud of you. You should be proud of your parents, isn't it? And any scenario, it should be a win-win scenario. Why win-win scenario is required? The relationship can go on in a long-term basis. Otherwise, it will disconnect, right? And next one, listen to get listened. It is always good that you listen and understand the context very well, so that what happened, your voice will also be heard properly. If you hear properly, yes, your voice will also be heard properly. For example, in this training program, you listen well, you learn well, and tomorrow you will be on my side. You will be conducting a similar program to others in your company. So that is possible, right? So listening is another important skill. Always we must listen, so that we can also get listened, and it is not that easy. That requires some commitment from the other side. And the next point is synergize. What is synergize? Are you utilizing your energy, your resources in a proper way that is spent only for attaining point number 2? What is point number 2? Your goal, the destination. Just think about your daily routine. How do you spend your time? The moment you wake up until you go back to the bed, how do you spend your time? Is that every single minute you are spending to achieve your bigger goal? Or are you scattered? Like, you're spending 2 hours in YouTube, and another 2 hours in Facebook, and another 1 hour somewhere else. And all that you are spending just to watch the reels and the stories put by others. If it is really helping you to achieve your point number 2, which is your, the bigger goal. Yes, I really appreciate you spending your time in YouTube, you spending your time in Facebook, wherever you spend, or whatever project you work on. Is it really pushing you towards your goal? Then you are synergizing. Otherwise, you are simply, diverting your resources in unnecessary direction. You are not synergizing. All of you understand the meaning of synergizing? And then sharpen the saw. It means you should be ready for the battle anytime. You should be ready for the battle. Long back, the wars were, conducted just with an announcement. With, they will just announce today and then tomorrow there will be a war. And you can't say, no, I'll get prepared and then come for the war. No, you should be able to, ready for the battle any moment. So keep you well prepared. Similarly, equipping you, all of you, like, here by going through the course, all this, is clearly confirming that you're also, staying updated, right? So these are the 7 important skills Stephen Covey has highlighted in his book so that you can be successful in your personal life, right? The same thing, do you think same 7 points, 7 habits are required in your professional life also? Am I correct? Do you want to demonstrate similar skills in your professional life also?
Yes, sir.
If the answer is yes, and we are going to exactly impact those skills. Six Sigma exactly impacts those skills, right? And I'll tell you, there are various tools and techniques you will be learning as part of the course, so that you will have proactive thinking. Six Sigma can be used for both purpose. You can use it for correction. You can also use it for prevention. Ultimately, Six Sigma is defect prevention. If there are already failures happening, you have to correct the failures first. If no failures are happening, you must focus on preventing the defects, right? So Six Sigma can be used in both, for both purpose. It can be used as a corrective measure. It can also be used as a preventive measure. Every project you drive, yes, there will be a clearly communicated goal. There will be a clear business case. And prioritization, there are tools like Pareto, tools like prioritization metrics, and thinking win-win. Every project, what is the investment and what is the return? Can you imagine a project that requires 20 lakhs investment and there is no return on investment? Do you think the company will spend 20 lakhs on your project? No. Always there has to be a business case, right? And the project execution cost is 20 lakhs and saving is 4.5 crores annually. Yes, company can understand the business case in it and can support your project. There are various tools we'll be coming across: voice of customer, voice of business, voice of the stakeholder, and all these things, are in line with the point number 5 mentioned in the Stephen Covey's book. Synergizing. Synergizing means all the projects, all the plans, all the action plans are in perfect alignment with the goals and objectives of the top management. The goals and objectives of the top management, particularly the goals, are called strategic goals. The top management goals are called strategic goals. When I say strategic, it means, something that can be achieved with a consistent effort over 3 to 5 years. Then only it's called a strategic goal. If you can achieve something overnight, if you can achieve something within a week, that's not a strategic goal. So strategic goal means long-term goal, right? So over next 3 years, you will be consistently working on something and thereby you are going to achieve results. That is called strategic goals. Generally, strategic goals are nothing but the goals of the top management. You know how they will achieve? They will break down the strategic goals into smaller version, convert them into goals that are achievable in 1 year time. You understand? The strategic goals are broken down into annual goals, because strategic goal is 3 years plan. It doesn't mean that you can take rest for 2 years and then start the work in the third year. No, you have to start the work right from day one. So what is your plan for first year? What will be the goal? And what is your action plan? And similarly, second year, what will be the goal? Third year, what will be the goal? The annual goals. The annual goals are now called tactical goals. Strategic goals means the 3 years goal. Tactical goals means annual goals. Now, who is responsible for the strategic goal? Top management. Who is responsible for the tactical goals? Middle management. Now, imagine you are a middle level manager. You want to achieve your annual goal. How will you achieve? You will break down your annual goal into smaller version. Like they are called short-term goals. Something that can be achieved in 3 months, 4 months. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Now these are called operational goals. Now these are called operational goals. In order to achieve the short-term goals, let's say 3 months goal, you have to work very effectively on a daily basis. Am I right? Imagine you want to make 5 lakhs within next 3 months. You have to be effective on every single day, isn't it? So that you will see that 5 lakhs in 3 months. If you see 5 lakhs in 3 months, then obviously within a year, you'll make much more. And within next 3 years, you will become a crorepati. Right? That is possible. So same thing we are doing in a professional environment. Strategic goal divided into tactical goal, and tactical goal divided into operational goals. Operational goal, in order to achieve the operational goal, I have an action plan. Action plan will tell me how I should work on a daily basis. If I execute the action plan, work properly on a daily basis, what will happen? All my short-term goals will get attained. All of you understand? If the short-term goals are achieved, what will happen to your annual goal? That will get achieved. If you achieve the annual goals continuously, 3 years, what will happen to the strategic goal? That will also get achieved. This is called goal alignment. This is called goal alignment. This is called synergizing. If you are an entrepreneur, if you have a big infrastructure and a big resource of 500 people working for you, would you like to synergize their efforts? Obviously, isn't it? You don't want to see some irrelevant projects happening. You don't want to see somebody working on an irrelevant goal. No, you want to see that everyone is aligned towards a common goal of the organization. This is what if you can demonstrate all these skills and also equip your employees, equip your professionals, particularly at least the managers, at least the leaders in the organization with these kind of skills, your organization can definitely become number one. All of you believe in this? Your organization can definitely become number one. I can give examples also. Similarly, the continuous learning. Yes, we need to learn from the failures, learn from the mistakes. But when we are learning, we need to re-standardize our processes, our procedures. This is called organization level learning. Once you re-standardize and update your procedures, SOPs, the same problem cannot happen again. Right? This is called organizational learning. So ultimately, we wanted to make sure our organization becomes number one in the shortest possible time. For example, let us talk about the company Reliance Jio Network. And Reliance Jio is around 8 to 10 years old by now. Am I right? 8 to 10 years. When Reliance Jio was introduced, they wanted to enter into the telecom mobile networking industry. There were many big players. Who were the big players 10 years before? Airtel,
Hutch,
Vodafone Idea,
Vodafone.
Docomo.
Airtel, Hutch, Vodafone, Docomo. They were very, very big players. But Jio, they wanted to penetrate. They wanted to penetrate. So they had a 3 years plan. What is the 3 years plan? We spoke about strategic goals. You know what was their strategy, Reliance Jio? They wanted to attract customers. All the customers are going to come from your competitors only, am I right? Because all of them already have some mobile network with them. So you need to pull them from your competitors only. So what was the strategy used by Reliance Jio? Customer delight, customer satisfaction, isn't it? And 3 years, they are not worried about anything else. They are ready to do anything to ensure the strategic goals are achieved. Completely free. All of you could have enjoyed, am I right? Having the services of Jio. And they extended it. They continued providing the service. And now, what is the market position of Jio? Become number 1. Their market share is really number 1. So this is called operational excellence. You need to really work hard to perform better than your competitors. And if you also synergize this and make everyone understand your goals and make everyone really make your organization progress in the correct direction, that is good enough for you to see your company in the number 1 position. All that required is 3 to 5 years time. Right? So this is what you are going to learn from the course. So Six Sigma is actually an approach to make it happen. Six Sigma is actually an approach to make it happen. We call it operational excellence approach. We call it operational excellence approach. Operationally, you are better than your perform little better than your competitors. That is good enough. That is good enough to make your company really number. So these are the skills. Definitely, you will see the impact by going through this course. Any questions to me on this? There are methodologies, there are tools. Ultimately, we want you to develop these skills. If you're already having those skills, you are good at prioritization and all those things, yes, that will get further shined up by learning in this course. Now, one more thing I would like to speak about with all of you. Why projects fail? Is it an important topic to know? When we drive a project, not necessarily Six Sigma project, any project, any improvement project you do, most of the time, the projects ends up without producing any result. That's a failure. Why it is happening? First reason, inappropriate mindset and culture. Inappropriate mindset and culture. The organization should want the improvement. If the organization is not open to continuous improvement, let us say you are doing a business at a very smaller level. Very smaller level means you are doing the business within your small village. You don't want to expand it. You don't want to expand it throughout the city, throughout the country, and later on, you don't want to expand it throughout the globe. And with that mindset, the improvement opportunities will be invisible. But the moment you realize, why can't I take my business throughout the country? If you want to expand, to scale up, you wanted to scale up your business. Do you think perfection is required before scaling up any business? Yes or no? You will imagine any product you produce. Let us say you are making laddus. What are you making? You all know laddu, right? The round and the spherical one. We all enjoy the taste. Suppose you wanted to just make 10, 50, 10, 20 laddu and then sell it. You really don't require big. You don't have to be very perfect. You can manage to sell it. But if you want to ensure you crack the entire market for the laddu, let's say you wanted to sell it throughout India. Every day you wanted to sell around several thousand pieces. Now, do you think perfection is required? 10,000 laddus every day you wanted to sell. Tell me, do you need perfection?
Yes, sir.
Is that
Yes,
all?
sir.
Is that all 10,000 laddus should have the same taste?
Yes.
Yes, sir. There should be
Same,
standards.
Yes,
same
sir.
size,
Yes, sir.
same
Yes,
weight,
sir.
same
Yes,
taste.
sir.
And will
Yes,
there
sir.
be many challenges to bring the same taste, to achieve the consistent quality? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Then, then continuous improvement is very, very important. Unless and until you continually improve your process, and some point of time, that will become a barrier for you to scale up. You will not be able to expand further. So the mindset and culture should be supportive. If you want to drive any improvement project, always there will be a resistance for change. Hope all of you agree with me. People, they don't want to change. So the culture within the company should be supportive for the improvement. Then the projects can be successful. So this is very, very important. And I've written two things here: mindset, another one is culture. Mindset means how an individual think, how an individual behave. As an individual, how you behave, how you think, that is called your mindset. But as a group, how you think, how you behave, that is called a culture. Whether you like it or not, culture will get developed automatically. Isn't it? Any company. So it is very, very important that you create a good culture, which can support continuous improvement philosophy. Otherwise, implementing a project and then achieving improvements, will be difficult. Second reason why projects fail: using inappropriate tools and techniques. Using inappropriate tools and techniques. Imagine you wanted to tighten a screw. There are multiple options. You can use a cutting plier and then tighten the screw. You can use a screwdriver. You can also do it with your bare hand. Which is better? Using?
With
Screwdriver.
screwdriver.
That is more appropriate. If you use the other tools or doing it by your hand, yes, that will lead to some unnecessary dangers. Use some other irrelevant tools, then definitely that won't look professional. Similarly, there are various tools: control chart, Pareto, your fishbone diagram, and there are many, many tools you will be learning as part of the course. If you know when to use those tools, and if you can make a right choice of the tools to handle a particular situation, yes, you can really produce results. But most of the time we use some inappropriate tools, and that is another reason for project failures. Third one: uncertainty in measurement. What is uncertainty? Nothing but error. Uncertainty is nothing but error. Trust me, every time you collect data, there will be error. Six Sigma is a data-driven approach, right? See, for many situations you can understand. Organization and people rely on data. Say, for example, a doctor giving has to give a treatment to a patient. The patient is very critical. He can't speak. Only the people around the patient, the relatives, they can speak. Do you think the doctor can give treatment according to all the statements made by the relatives? No. He will now be relying on the data. Am I right? All the diagnostic report, real-time reports will help the doctor to decide on the treatment. Same manner, many situations you need to be data-driven. So, but every time you collect a data can come with error. There are two types of error possible. One is measurement error. Another one is sampling error. What is measurement error? If the instrument is not appropriate, measuring instrument is not appropriate, or you don't know how to use the measurement, that will lead to measurement error. sampling error. Sampling error means you collect data from an irrelevant source. You want to study what's happening in the second shift, because lot of rejections are happening in second shift, but people have collected data from first shift. Do you think that data will be helpful? What is this error? Sampling error. You are trying to understand the problem, understand the issue by collecting data, but the data collected is unworthy. Why unworthy? It has error in it. Measurement error is also there, sampling error is also there, and data becomes useless. Garbage in, garbage out. So whenever your project is data driven, make sure your data is clean and credible, right? And you should keep the measurement error, limit the measurement error to less than 10%. You should limit the sampling error to less than 5%. These are industry standards. You should find a way to measure the measurement error so that you can use data and take decision. If you don't know how much error your data contains, you still use the data. It is something like, closing your eyes and, driving your car on a highway. You will not be able to reach the destination, right? You will be running a heavy risk if you take decisions using unreliable data. All of you understand? Many times, this mistake happens. You need data and somebody gives irrelevant data, and then you work on it. All right. Now, another reason why projects fail: lack of methodology. People do not know where to begin and where to end, right? If you have a step-by-step approach, people can easily walk through the steps and then produce the result. Imagine you have to make a jump, 50 feet height. Will you be able to jump 50 feet in one go? Difficult. But if I give you 15 steps, you can walk through the steps and you can reach, the top very easily. So methodology is very, very important. Six Sigma provides a methodology called DMAIC: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control, right? And Six Sigma is a methodology so that can ensure project team can deliver results effortlessly. Another reason why projects fail: inadequate process knowledge. Inadequate process knowledge. Every company is nothing but a collection of processes. Let's say, for example, a garment industry. Can you tell me what kind of processes will be there in a garment industry? What kind of processes will be there in a garment industry? Come on, guys. Raw material procurement.
Yes.
And then cutting.
Yes.
Stitching.
Stitching.
Ironing.
Yes.
And attaching the accessories. Packaging. Billing. Dispatching. These, so many processes, same manner. In your company also, you could see many processes. And there is a problem happening. Let's say you have ordered the item. You have ordered the item and item is not delivered. Item is, not delivered on time. Now tell me, you have ordered for a garment. The garment, is not arriving on time. Majority of the customers are complaining about the delayed delivery of the product. Now tell me, which process is responsible for the failure? Is it cutting process responsible for the failure?
Distribution process.
What is that?
The distribution process of
The
the
dispatch.
dispatch.
Moment an order is received and how the dispatch is happening, where exactly the delay is happening. So this is called process knowledge. Now the whole project will work around the dispatch process, isn't it? So there is no point of improving an irrelevant process. So the team that is working on a improvement should have a fair idea about the processes that really needs to be improved. You should be able to figure out the process which is responsible for the failure, right? If you work in improving a process which is not at all connected to the problem, and you will not be able to solve the problem, right? And finally, unstable processes cannot be improved. Unstable processes cannot be improved. What is a stable process? What is an unstable process? The process is stable. And if I am plotting, a control chart, I will see all the points well inside the control limit. Or imagine a doctor, giving a treatment to a patient. Is it important the patient to remain stable during the treatment? Suppose if the patient is not stable, you still want to give the treatment, operation. What will happen? Operation will be successful. But the patient, big doubt, isn't it? So make sure the patient is stable enough when you are trying to give some treatment. That's the reason why, sometimes doctors will admit the patient and 2-3 days, give them sufficient rest. They are stabilizing. Now the treatment can be given. Similarly, when you are doing a project in your company, trying to improve a process, first try to stabilize the process. If the process is stable, you will have good control over the process. If you have good control over the process, it can be improved. It's like, you conducting a class like me. If you are conducting a class like me, there are a set of students who are, listening to you. What is very important? You should have good control over your students. Am I right? If you have good control over your students, then you can improve further. You don't even have control over the students. Will you be able to improve the performance of the students? Students are not listening to you. Students are not coming to your class. How will you improve their performance? It's impossible, isn't it? So you improving your lectures, your teaching, and everything will go in vain, simply because you have poor control over the process. That is called, stability. A process is considered stable if it remains in statistical control. Control chart is a beautiful tool that will tell you whether a process is under control or not. Process is under control. If all the points are appearing inside the control limit, process is stable. If points are seen outside the control limit, your process is out of control. All of you understand?
Yes, sir.
Make sure you always work on improving a process that is stable enough. If the process itself is unstable, please understand it is not ready for improvement. If the process is not ready for improvement, then all your efforts will get wasted. So these are 6 major reasons why sometimes projects do not deliver results. If you could take care of all these things in your favor, definitely you will be able to deliver results. Now, there are 2 equations here that is written in my slide. One of you, can you read out this equation, old equation of business? What is this? Who is going to read out?
So it's old equation of business. Cost plus profit equals to price.
Okay, enough. Cost plus profit equal to price. The price of the product is decided by you. How you decide? You know the cost of producing a product, which is 100 rupees. And you want 20 rupees profit. So what will be the price of the product now? 120 rupees. If you can decide the price of a product, yes, this method is acceptable. But current scenario, who decides the price? Is it the manufacturer can decide the price of the product, or is it the price is decided by market? Tell me.
Market or consumer?
Most of the time, the price is decided by the market, decided by the competition, decided by the consumer, unless and until you are a monopoly, right? The price is decided by the market. And so you should respect the new equation. What is the new equation? Price minus cost is equal to your profit. How it differs? Let's say product price is 100 rupees and your manufacturing cost is 80 rupees. Now your profit is 20 rupees. Now I want more profit. What can I do now? Can I increase the price or should I focus on decreasing the cost?
Decreasing the cost.
Increasing the cost.
Because price is decided by the market, the what is in your control is only cost. Right? Try to keep the cost as low as possible. That's how you can maximize the profit. If you understand, yes, profit maximization depends on the cost of your product, right? You will understand how why Six Sigma is important. And now understanding the second equation, I mean, the importance of the cost, where from the cost comes. We will talk about it. Prior to that, customer satisfaction and business growth, there is a connection. Customer wants faultless quality. That means defectless product. Customer wants on-time delivery. Customer wants quick service. Customer wants lowest price. And if you do all of this, you will be able to make good profit. Do you think there is a connection with all these and the profit? Definitely. So now what do we understand by looking at this slide? Customer is sensitive to the cost. Customer is also sensitive to the time. Customer is also sensitive to the quality of your product. Now the cost, which decides the cost of your product? The cost of the process, isn't it? You can produce a product using any process. And if you design it well, then it can cost you less. If you design it badly, sometimes it can cost you high. So the cost of the process, similarly, the speed of the process, and the third one, the capability of the process. If you can take care of all the three, yes, definitely no, customer will be happy with respect to all the three dimensions. So now yes, see here. In order to minimize the cost, minimize the time, as well as improve the quality, can you see all of them depends on your process? Everything, finally boils down to the process. So there is a compelling reason for all of us to focus on process improvement if you want to be successful in a business, right? So ideal situation. Ideal situation means it never happens. But assuming ideal situation, can one of you read out the first statement?
Best quality raw materials / inputs or minimum price.
Yeah. Do you get best quality raw material always at a very minimum price?
Not possible.
No.
Very difficult. Second statement. Who is going to read the second statement?
Your people and processes produce world-class quality.
Yeah. Just ask yourself, are your people in your company and the processes in your company produce world-class results? Answer can be yes, answer can be no. Majority of the scenario,
Yes.
it is no. Third statement, you are able to produce at lowest cost and just in time. The cost of production is very low and you are always producing, just in time. Like, you want the breakfast and hot idlis are served. Just prepared and that is now, served in your table. Same manner, are you producing products exactly by the time, there is a demand? There is a demand, you produce and supply. Is it happening that way? No. Either we overproduce or we underproduce, right? And the last statement, your products are picked up by the customer at your price. All these statements are ideal situation. Then what is reality? What is reality? Right? If all these statements are true, then definitely your company will make a huge profit. But are they possible in real time? Definitely not. Always there will be no problem with the supplier raw material quality. And your people, always, there will be some skill gap and processes may not be capable enough. And all these are called constraints. But ultimately, all of us wanted to achieve this ideal situation. Am I right? Our journey is towards ideal situation. One day we wanted to make sure we make all these things happen in our business. So what needs to be done? You have to focus on process improvement. You have to focus on process improvement, and you have to eliminate three things. One is eliminate waste. Another one is eliminate delay. And one more thing is eliminate defects. When I eliminate defects from my product, you know what will happen? My product will slowly move towards becoming best in class. Am I right? There are no defects. When I eliminate delay, I will be able to deliver fast. On-time delivery will start happening. When I eliminate waste, can you tell me what is a waste? What is waste? Any form of inefficiency. Any form of inefficiency. What is inefficiency? Excessive consumption of resources. Am I correct? You consume resources excessively, then you are inefficient. That is called waste. You eliminate the waste, eliminate the delay, and what's the one more? Eliminate the defects. If you could eliminate all the three, yes, you will be, you will be able to move towards the ideal situation. Am I correct? This is what all of us need to do in any business. So if there are any gaps, between the ideal situation and your current situation, you can try to either eliminate the gap or minimize the gap, which is nothing but an improvement. That means waste reduction can be an improvement project. Cycle time reduction can be an improvement project. Defect reduction can be an improvement project. Now, all these, improvement requires some methodology. All this improvement require some methodology. There are many methodologies you can see in my slide. Just do it. Kaizen, PDCA, Lean, Six Sigma, DFSS. So Six Sigma is data-driven, a superior problem-solving methodology. Though there are other methodologies are there, Six Sigma is a superior problem-solving methodology. You can use it in any situation. You can use it in any situation. Like whether the problem is complex or simple, yes, Six Sigma methodology can fix it. But if the problem is really simple, yes, you can solve it, with other approach. Kaizen. Kaizen means small improvement. Small, continuous improvement. That is called Kaizen. Just do it. What is just do it? There is a problem and solution is readily available. Just do it, implement it. But if there is a problem, there is no solution available, then that's the time, Six Sigma is required. Right? We'll talk in depth about though there are various problem solving methodology exist. The Six Sigma methodology is really, a superior methodology. It can allow you to fix any kind of complex problem related to quality, related to productivity, even related to cost. So what is the focus? Our survival is dependent on business growth. Hope all of you agree with me. Our survival depends on business growth. But business growth is largely determined by customer satisfaction. And customer satisfaction is governed by quality, price, and delivery. And quality, price, and delivery are controlled by process capability. Our process capability is greatly limited by variation. Can you find the sequence, all of you here, in all the statement? What is the last statement I read? Our process capability is greatly limited by variation. What is the meaning of variation here?
So
Sir, they should not-
uncontrolled factors in our process.
Very good. So the raw material quality may not be same, isn't it? You have different suppliers, different raw materials. There will be variation within the raw material. Today's raw material can be different from yesterday's raw material. But you need to produce, product with consistent quality. And there will be variation between the operators. There will be variation between the machines. There will be variation between the shift. You might have, multiple factories. There will be variation between the factory. Possible or not? So all these variation will limit your capability. Am I correct? Yes.
Yes.
Process variation.
Yeah.
Process variation, if you do not control it properly, the raw material quality, variation in the raw material quality, you don't monitor, you don't control, you will not be able to control, your product quality. Right? So to process variation leads to an increase in defects, increase in cost, increase in cycle time. To eliminate variation, we must apply the right knowledge. In order to apply the right knowledge, we must first acquire it. That's one of the prime reason all of you are here in the program. And to acquire new knowledge means we must have the will to survive. So what is Six Sigma then? We are trying to reduce defects. How? By monitoring and controlling the variation. Is it logical, the statement? How can I reduce defects? By monitoring and controlling variation. If my input quality is taken care, definitely output quality will also be, acceptable. Right? That is the logic. Any questions so far on all the slides? Any of the slides? Anybody would like to ask me anything? Please feel free to ask questions if you want to ask. I'm open to your questions. Come on.
Good evening, sir. I'm Anurag Shah. I wanted to ask you a question.
Yes, Anurag.
Earlier, you said that an unstable process cannot be improved. But how can we work on stabilizing, or what steps can we take? What necessary actions can we take to stabilize an unstable process?
Yes, very good, very good question. So this is called, statistical process control, number one, right? SPC. Even before SPC, yes, that's where organization have SOPs, standard operating procedures, and then they have audits for incoming raw material quality, isn't it? And all these things, why they do? To ensure our process remains stable. Stable means consistent quality. See, you can be consistently good, you can be consistently bad also. But consistency is the key. If there is consistency, yes, process can be improved very well. But in the absence of the consistency, your focus should be on establishing consistency. Imagine you have a product, you have a business, you have a process, and the output is the process is not stable. Tell me what could be the reason why your process is not stable?
Maybe quality or inefficient processing.
There is no SOP. That's what you are saying. Inefficient process means there is no SOP. So every operator work in his own method. under those situations, making improvement to the next level will be difficult. First of all, you establish a process, try to achieve consistency. If consistency is achieved, yes, improvement is possible. What is improvement? Let us say you have a control chart. I do not know whether you are all familiar about control chart or not, but anyway, I'll just talk at the outline. Imagine there is a control chart. There will be a center line. There will be a center line. There will be a line above it, which is called upper control limit. There is a line below it, which is called lower control limit. If you can conveniently see all the points falling within the control limit, you can think of improving a process. What is improvement now? Try to bring the control limit closer to the center line. Bring the control limit closer to the center line. If you can make it happen, your product will become a premium product. Let us say,
Dr. Gopal, I have a question here.
yes, sir.
So, Dr. Gopal, we are talking about the process controls. So, my
Yes.
understanding is that it is very feasible when it comes to a continuous process. It's like a line of controls. When it
Yes.
comes to batch processes, right? How we can use these particular tools, or which particular tools could be effective in batch processes? Because inconsistency is way to happen, and uncertainty is very high over there.
What is very high?
Uncertainty.
See, uncertainty, that is what we call it variation.
Yeah.
The moment you say you can't control variation, then the chances for a defect to happen will be high. Whether it is batch production or mass production, as long as the process is repetitive in nature, you can monitor it, and then you can control it to ensure, the uncertainty has to be reduced. That is the challenge. The variation has to be reduced. The lesser the variation, better will be the chance for you to produce quality product. Lesser will be the chance to see rejections, right? All right. So probably, yes,
What
Mr.
are the kind of tools we can perhaps use for the batch processes? Right, SPC is good enough for the continuous process, but when it comes to batch processes, right, every batch is different from another batch. Whether we use the same processes, same SOP, same people, but the variations are high. So how we can control that?
See, first of all, yes, we need to know when can we use Six Sigma. You're talking about the a situation where Six Sigma is not required. Am I right, Vishal?
If we have to use, then perhaps what could be the tools we need to use?
See, if Six Sigma comes into picture, if the process is repetitive in nature, and the output from the process is having a defect. There are some defect, non-conformances, and that is recurring in nature. If you don't address to it, then then the damages will be much more. And definitely in those situations, yes, Six Sigma approach will be very definitely helpful. You can fix it. Suppose if it is not a recurring process, that's what you are trying to say. Am I right? It is not a repeatable process. It's just one time. Let's say you are developing a website. You want to develop a website, and now the final output is unacceptable. Then in those cases, see, there are two things. One is improvement, another one is development. Improvement means you can develop a product, and then if there is a gap, you understand, you can actually facelift the product. But sometimes what happens, you go project by project. Let's say there is one project you are doing, and then the second project is completely a different one, different from the previous one. In those cases, your ideology should be first time right. What is ideology? Continuous improvement. No, there is no room for continuous improvement. You have to do things right at the first time. Because since the process is not repetitive, what you need to do now? You have to do everything proactively. There is no room for, chance for you to correct the failures here. Everything, happens in a one go. That's what you call it batch production. And the second batch is completely different. It is like, just to understand the scenario, I'm telling this. Let's say, the marriage. How many times we can marry? How many times? Only once.
Only once.
You have to be right. You have to be very proactive to ensure that leads to a happy life, isn't it? So, the philosophy is different. But sometimes you are producing, 10,000 pieces a day or 1,000 pieces a shift, or you have to create multiple reports every day. And if you could see your process is repeatable, yes, definitely, those are the situations you actually require Six Sigma. Those are the situations where you should worry about variation. If the process is not repeatable in nature, and you can't, there is less chance for you to measure the variation. You understand my point? There is less chance for you to measure the variation. Product to product variation is very less. But if the batch to batch variation is troublesome, yes, you can work on it. Probably when we speak a little more in depth about the process approach, we can, the question, you will be able to understand better. Now, keeping that on one side, I'm showing a slide. Tell me which car is a quality car. According to you, you can type your answers in the chat box. Let me just whatever comes to your mind, you straight away type it in the chat box. Let me just see. All of you type your option in the chat box. Yes, all of you can participate. Very good. So there are some few good answers, but I could see BMW dominating in the chat box. All of you can also see that. Suppose if I change the question, which car is a luxurious car? Now all of us must type BMW only, isn't it? So most of the time we confuse quality and luxury. We mix up quality and luxury, right? So all the cars are quality cars. Few of you have answered very correctly. We need to understand the requirement. Cost concern and features are concerned, right? All the cars are quality cars only because all of them are successful in the market. Then what is different here is customer segment is different. Customer segment is different, and so the requirements are different. So what is quality? Quality comes from meeting customer requirement. Quality comes from meeting customer requirement. If you want to ensure quality, you have to do 4 things very correctly. You have to do 4 activities very correctly. First activity, understand your customer requirement. What is understanding customer requirement? You understand the customer segment, then understand their requirement. Hope all of you understand the meaning of the terms I am using. Customer segment has to be understood. Their age group, their income level, their geographical location, all these things, you must understand. Then their requirement. The customer requirement is considered to be understood if you can measure them. If you can't measure the requirement, if you can't find out a unit of measurement, then, then it simply means there is a problem at the understanding level, understanding itself. You take any product, right? And all the requirements, you should be able to convert into some numbers. When I can convert the requirements into numbers, the numbers are called specifications. The numbers are called specifications. In Six Sigma, we call it CTQ. We call it CTQ. Let me type it. CTQ means critical to quality. CTQ, that means critical to quality characteristics. Every product will have certain characteristics, and all the characteristics you should be able to list it down, and you should also be able to measure it. If the measurability is poor, it simply means understanding level itself there is a problem. And then we move on to designing. Once the requirements are understood, we move on to design. And the ultimate purpose of designing is to ensure the output can meet the customer requirement. Probably we develop some prototype here. But then for mass production, you require process. For mass production, you require process. The ultimate purpose of establishing a process is to ensure the quality of the first output and the quality of nth output are same, right? And finally, once the process is developed, we need people who can effectively monitor and who can effectively control and effectively manage the process. Now, there are two things again coming here: process control and then process management. Process control means achieving consistency in the result. Process management means process improvement. Why process improvement is required? Customer requirement can change. Your competitor can offer a better product and you need to respond. If your competitor comes up with a better product, you still don't want to improve your process further, then that might affect sometimes affect your business performance. So quality also finally boils down to process. So now process improvement is the key to quality and so business result. Process improvement is the key to quality. Quality means the product features should be acceptable. Product features are called the CTQs, right? And in order to understand the process approach, imagine you have an orange tree. You have an orange tree and it can give oranges, but suddenly you want apple. Tell me, will you be able to produce apple from the same orange tree?
No.
No.
Definitely no.
No.
If you want to change the fruits, you must necessarily change the roots. If you want to change the fruits, you must necessarily change the roots. Similarly, if you want to change the results or you want better results, you definitely require better process, right? And this is what we call it y equal to f of x, where y is output, x are the input. Mathematically, y is called dependent variable, x are called independent variable. Why do we call y as dependent variable? Because y depends on various input factors, x factor. That's why we call y as dependent variable. Say, for example, you take any product, let's say a coffee. In coffee, what do we expect? We expect a good taste. Now, is it possible you can measure the taste? Tell me, is it possible you can measure the taste?
No.
First of all, taste can be divided into the coffee must be sweeter. The sweetness should be at the required level and coffee strongness should be at the particular level, isn't it? And similarly, the hotness, these are called y variable. A coffee served at particular temperature, coffee with a particular level of sweet, coffee with a particular level of strongness, these are y variable, y1, y2, y3. Do you understand, all of you? If the coffee y1 is okay, y2 is okay, y3 is okay, these are all called CTQs, critical to quality characteristics. If I offer you a coffee, which is, very cold, you may not like it. You expect the coffee to have certain temperature. It should be hotter. So all these CTQs, if they are acceptable to you, then product quality will be acceptable, right? So all are these are called Y variable. Now, in order to achieve the desired level of taste, what are the inputs required for a coffee? You need coffee powder, you need sugar, you need milk, you have to know some stirring is required. All these things are called X factors, And now, if there is a problem with the quality, of the coffee, let us say coffee is not stronger. Tell me which is the X factor that is affecting the strongness of the coffee.
Coffee
Amount of
powder.
cocoa powder.
Coffee powder. Coffee beans. The coffee powder is inappropriate. The quantity of the coffee powder is inappropriate, or the quality of the coffee powder is inappropriate. This will definitely affect the strongness of the coffee. Such factor that is pulling down your characteristics of your product are called root causes or the critical factors. Isn't it? A factor that is pulling down your Y variable, that is called root cause. And so problem solving means the first thing is you should be able to identify the root cause. Root cause identification. Similarly, instead of coffee, you can take some other product. Let's say you produce concrete block. Tell me, in a concrete block, what are the characteristics you require? In a concrete block, what are the characteristics you require? Strength. So strength is Y1. Strength is a CTQ. What are the other characteristics which are important in a concrete block?
Mixing of the materials.
No, mixing of the materials is your Y or X.
Why, sir?
That will be your X.
It should be
Why?
it should be sturdy, sir. Like it can,
Yes. It should have the strength. It should have desired shape, desired size, and it should have the proper finish and all these things. These are all Y variable. And it depends on the X factors. X factors can be the ingredients that you use: cement, water, the reinforcement, and the process conditions and all these things. So ultimately, if there is a problem with the strength of the material, what is the critical factor? What could be the root cause? What is the critical factor? What could be the root cause? When I change the question from coffee to a concrete block, it looks, little difficult, but we can still handle the situation. Properly identify the root cause and, offer a solution also. So any problem related to quality in any product, in any industry, right? Be it manufacturing or be it service, if there are defects, using this thinking, you will be able to fix very well. All that you need to do is you should have a process thinking, output and input. And first step towards problem solving is root cause identification. Second step, root cause validation. Third step, root cause relationship. And fourth step, root cause sufficiency. What it all means. I'm sure you all are good at root cause identification. Imagine there is a problem in your company in a particular process. You identified the root cause. So you wanted to make changes. Do you think people will immediately allow you to make changes? They will definitely ask for evidence. That's why, root cause validation is important. You have seen a crime, you have found a criminal, but then also, judge will not believe you. He will definitely ask for the evidence. If you can provide the evidence, yes, the criminal can be punished. Same manner, to make changes in a process, root cause identification alone is not enough. You should be able to validate the root cause. There are certain tools. A tool called, hypothesis testing. A tool called hypothesis testing. Nothing but a statistical procedure by which you will be able to validate the root cause, number one. And number three, what is that I told? Root cause identification, root cause validation. Now the third one is root cause relationship. In a coffee example, when I add more coffee powder, my coffee will become more stronger. When I put less coffee powder, coffee will become less stronger. What is the relationship here? Positive. Increasing the X, can you see an increase in Y? Decreasing the X, you can see a decrease in X. Decrease in Y. Same relationship between sweetness and sugar. I put more sugar, my coffee will become more sweeter. What is the relationship? Positive. Do you think understanding about the relationship is important? You understood about root cause. You validated the root cause. Now, in order to offer a solution, you should know the relationship between the root cause and the output variable. Solution will automatically evolve. Let's say you want to increase the sweet. If you want to increase the sweet, what will you do? You will put more sugar. You want to decrease the sweet, you will decrease the sugar. So how to offer a solution will automatically evolve if you are clear about root cause relationship. This is what we call it correlation and regression analysis. The tools that can help you to understand the relationship between X and Y is correlation analysis and regression analysis. And another one, root cause sufficiency. Whether the number of root causes is one or number of root causes are many. Whether the crime is done by one criminal or multiple criminals are involved. If there are multiple criminals involved, what is the contribution? Who is the gang leader? If there are multiple root causes, which factor is more influential? Do you think all these questions make sense in problem solving? Then only,
Yes, sir.
then only offering a solution will become, much easier. All your brainstorming session after having answer for all these questions can lead to some solution, right? So this is what we call it, process improvement approach. You can use this approach for any product. Now, what is the product here? What is the product?
Laddu.
Laddu. You have to make 10,000 laddus and then supply every day. Now all the requirement comes. What are the CTQs in a laddu? Critical to quality characteristics. Are there any specifications even for a laddu available?
Size.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
No
Sweetness.
specification.
Size.
That means
Sweetness.
I give
Yes, sir.
anything
Every
you
food-
will eat.
Color.
There are
Color of-
specifications, yeah. There
the
are
color of the
specifications.
Color.
Color
Yes, sir.
is important.
Every food what we are having is under FSI.
Okay, let me understand one by one. What color you want for laddu?
Yellow, sir.
You want yellow color. Okay. Then, do you have any requirement on the shape?
It should be spherical.
Spherical.
It should be very good.
Very good. Then, you have any concern about the weight of the laddu? You are ordering me, some 10,000 pieces. Every piece, the weight is important, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Every laddu should have the same shape, same weight, and the taste and everything. So now tell me, you should be able to measure all of this. When you say you want the spherical shape for the laddu, what are you talking about? You are talking about the diameter, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And similarly, the weight. Every laddu is supposed to be, have 75 gram weight. Suppose if I don't give exactly 75 gram weight, do you think will it be a problem for me one day?
No.
Because I have been,
Yes.
I have been printing all this in my laddu packs. Yes, this is 75 gram, but then in reality it contains only 65 gram. Will somebody file a case?
Yes, they can.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure, they can.
Yes.
So that is the reason why you require a process. Can you see a process of laddu making here? Can you see the all the ingredients? All the
Yes, sir.
ingredients are
Yeah,
all the
it's a
ingredients that
recipe given.
all the ingredients
ex-
are written here. They are X factors. Here is your process. There are 8 steps. The process ensures the variations are minimized. Whoever is involved in the process of making the laddu, your laddu comes out with the desired level of quality, and you can simply pack them and then distribute them throughout the country, whoever is ordering. Right? So this is called the process thinking, and this you should be able to use it in your business, in your product also. So, okay. So when I say process, there are 2 things. Effectiveness, another one is efficiency. What is effectiveness? Ability of your process to produce defect-free output. Ability of your process to produce defect-free output. Efficiency means ability of your process to produce the output, acceptable output, consuming only the required resources, not consuming excessive resource. In any business, effectiveness cannot be compromised and efficiency must be optimized. Because effectiveness means your products are defect-free. If your products are defect-free, customer will be happy about it. But when customers are happy, your business owner should also be happy. Your business owner will be happy if your business is profitable. Right? So profitable means it depends on both effectiveness as well as efficiency. Am I correct? How much resource you consume, how much amount of resource you consume, that is very important. If you consume excessive resource, you may not be profitable, right? So Six Sigma is all about process improvement. Six Sigma is all about process improvement. So we'll see how Six Sigma is connected to the business and what actually happened in Motorola, and that ultimately gave birth to Six Sigma approach. We will take a short break here and then we can continue. So how much? So can we take a 10 minutes break here and then continue, all of you?
Sure, sir.
I just stop my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just a second. All right, so we will meet here. We'll meet here by 9:25. Let's take a 10 minutes break and then join by 9:25. Stop share. Okay. Have you joined the meeting, all of you?
Yes, sir.
sir. We are ready.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
So, so my slide must be visible now. Am I right? Am I right? My slide is visible. History of Six Sigma.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
Six Sigma evolved from a company called Motorola. You are seeing the company CEO Robert Bob Galvin. So this is Bill Smith, who is known as father of Six Sigma. This is Dr. Michael Harry, who is a statistician. Actually, in around 1980s, Motorola was, they felt that, their quality levels are going down. So somewhere around 1980, Motorola, they realized that their quality levels are going down. Particularly, they have felt the competition from the Japanese brands, right? And so the company wanted to achieve, kind of come up with the kind of breakthrough initiative. So that which gave birth to a new approach, which they named it as Six Sigma. So this gentleman, CEO Robert Bob Galvin, he called all his executives and he communicated them that the company needs a 10-fold improvement in a span of 5 years. Within the next 5 years, the company should grow 10 times. And the responsibility was assigned to Bill Smith and Michael Harry. So the combination of the engineering and the statistical brain really worked Motorola, and using which they have resolved all the existing failures, as well as they have used the same approach to prevent the future failures. And particularly the reason why Bill Smith was given the responsibility is he did a research. He studied the correlation between the number of repairs a product undergoes and its field life. Tell me, if the number of times a product undergoing a repair is more, what will be the field life? Field life will be low. So the goal should be to produce product right at the first time without any going through any repair or rework. So that was the finding, and that is the main reason why Bob Galvin chose Bill Smith, and then accompanied by Michael Harry. So subsequently, both of them developed a structured approach. They named it as Six Sigma. These are the numbers behind Motorola: the turnover, the manpower, the locations, and reason for adopting or introducing the Six Sigma approaches. Quality was sinking, particularly the competition from the Japanese. And Motorola, they wanted to become world leader in manufacturing and communication products such as pagers, etc. And they similarly, another company which adopted Six Sigma in the earlier time is ABB, Asia Brown Boveri, company that is into robotics and electrical heavy equipment manufacturing. Their reason for Six Sigma is they realized that their performance is below average. Their defect levels are 60% higher than the competitors. Their competitors are able to make 10% profits, higher profit than ABB. These are the reasons why ABB adopted Six Sigma. And General Electric, why General Electric adopted Six Sigma? One of their important product is a scanner. The scanner, it took 3 minutes to complete a scanning process. But for the same scanning process, the competitor's scanner was able to complete in less than 30 seconds. So that's the reason, General Electric initially adopted Six Sigma. Moreover, there were bulb failure. There are about 20 million bulbs failing annually, and each bulb in the scanner, that will be costing around $60,000. These are the prime reasons all these bigger brands adopted Six Sigma. And as a result, these are the results these company achieved. Motorola, they achieved a saving of over $2.2 billion every year, and $1 billion in manufacturing and $1 billion saving in non-manufacturing. ABB, 68% reduction in the defect level, 30% reduction in the production cost, $898 million saving each year. General Electric, by spending $500 million, they got back $2 billion in 1 year and $12 billion in 5 years. So these are the reasons why, and later on Six Sigma become very popular, and companies like Bank of America and all automotive companies and big brands, they have adopted Six Sigma. So what is exactly Six Sigma? Six Sigma is an operational excellence model. Six Sigma is an aggressive campaign where everyone in the organization is aligned towards a common goal, and every single project, targeting the improvement or, actually, ended up producing the results, and ultimately all of them will boost the profitability of the organization, increase the market share, and improve the customer satisfaction. And the strategic focus is on quality. So Six Sigma is an operational excellence model or an aggressive campaign to boost the profitability, increase the market share, improve the customer satisfaction. Strategic focus is on quality, right? So no compromise on the quality. And ultimately, the philosophy behind Six Sigma is we can reduce the defects by reducing variation. And it requires, some effort, some knowledge and skill for somebody to participate in a Six Sigma project. And so far I have been talking about, the basics behind Six Sigma, some motivation to adopt Six Sigma. If you are really convinced that yes, Six Sigma is going to be helpful in your career, Six Sigma is going to be helpful in your company also, because it is systematic way of problem solving. Six Sigma is nothing but systematically fixing the problem in a way that the problem never comes again, right? So if you are convinced about, yes, Six Sigma is required for your company, you have become a white belt, right? But this is not sufficient to participate in a project. The next immediate level of proficiency is yellow belt, which means you are now project assistants. Yellow belt means you are a project assistant. You can work on improvement projects, but definitely under the guidance of green or a black belt, who are normally the project leaders or team leaders. So green belt, black belt, the difference is the kind of projects they handle. A green belt will handle a project of lesser complexity or medium complexity. However, a black belt will handle the project of higher complexity involving multiple departments. A green belt will spend 20% of his time on Six Sigma project, but a black belt will spend 100% of his time on Six Sigma project. That means he is a full-time Six Sigma expert. Who is a full-time Six Sigma expert? Black belt. A green belt is a part-time Six Sigma expert. A green belt is expected to complete 2 projects a year. A black belt is expected to complete 6 projects a year. And master black belt, you are now the coach. You are the one who will be producing the other belts within your company. You are the one who will be developing KPIs, and you will be part of the quality council, part of the business excellence team, developing strategies, developing KPIs to ensure your organization is moving in the correct direction. And champion and sponsor, they are nothing but the leadership team. Sponsor is the one who has the authority to approve the project. Champion is the one who will liaison between sponsor and the project team. Any roadblock the team is going through, yes, the champion will, intervene and then, resolve the roadblock, right? They are like parents to a children, parents to the children. So children without parents, how difficult it will be for them to survive and then become successful. Same manner, a project without a champion and sponsor will definitely difficult to drive and then succeed. That's why this kind of infrastructure is very important for the success of any Six Sigma deployment. So these are different belt levels, and we are here to understand the responsibilities and roles of an yellow belt. Yellow belt is expected to participate in the team meeting. He will be helping with the administrative task. He'll meet with the project leaders for reviews and make recommendations or changes, right? And all these things, you can read through the slides, the green and black and other responsibilities. Anyway, I have already covered in the previous slide. So ultimately, what is Six Sigma? Six Sigma is a management philosophy to meet business objective by reducing variation. It is a disciplined data-driven methodology for decision-making and process improvement, right? And you can see there are two processes I'm showing here. One is having a higher spread. Higher spread means too much variation. Another process, lower spread, which means very less variation. If the variation is less, the chance for you to produce acceptable products will be very high. If the variation is too high, the chance for you to produce acceptable product will be less, and so rejections will be more. So fundamentally, why defects are happening? If you fail to control the variation, which is nothing but the uncertainty, then defects will happen, right? So that is the logic. So what is Six Sigma? Six Sigma is a metric. Six Sigma is a methodology. Six Sigma is a way of management. Six Sigma is a philosophy. Metric means that tells you the probability of success, probability of failure. A process will have a success rate of close to 100% if it operates at Six Sigma capability. We call it 99.999. If at all there are any failures, definitely that will be less than 3.4 DPMO, where DPMO stands for defects per million opportunity. And Six Sigma is also considered a methodology. It offers a methodology called DMAIC. DMAIC for improvement, DMADV for development. Improvement means you are facelifting a process. Development means you are introducing, you are developing a new process. You are developing a new product. Then Six Sigma will follow a methodology called DMADV. DMAC means define, measure, analyze, improve, control. DMADV means define, measure, analyze, design, and validate. You can use Six Sigma for improvement as well as development. And Six Sigma is a way of management. Companies like Amazon, HCL, Caterpillar, and many big brands, they all have an in-house Six Sigma program where the career progress of their employees are connected to the belt level, right? And that's the best way, Six Sigma can be deployed. And Six Sigma is a philosophy. All of us can use Six Sigma for improving any process that, we want to improve. So what is this methodology? Problem solving methodology. And in the first phase, define what is exactly the problem. A problem is considered to be understood if you can express the problem in the form of a number, nothing but the CTQ. Once the number is identified, you can proceed with the measure. Then you can proceed with analyze. Then you can proceed with improve. Then you can proceed with control. The ultimate goal of define phase is express the problem in a single number. A number that will be a representative of the whole problem. Then measure. The goal is measure without error. And deliverable is baseline performance. What is the ground reality? Where do you stand as of now? Analyze. You should analyze for the root cause, not for the symptom. Root cause identification, root cause validation, root cause relationship, root cause sufficiency. All those things you need to do here. Then improve phase. You optimize the X. Optimizing the X is nothing but treatment. You can also call it solution. If you define well, measure well, analyze well, yes, you will be able to talk about the solution. You will be able to generate the solution. Now control, monitor and control the root causes. Imagine on the left side, you started with Y. You measured Y. Now analyze. You have started focusing on X. Improve. Your focus is on X. Control. Your focus is also on X. This is called, Six Sigma way of problem solving. You can use it, to solve any problem, right? All that required is, proper understanding on the specific metric that you want to improve. And
So,
now, yes.
so could you please elaborate on measure? What do you mean by measure?
Yeah, see, in measure means we are trying to quantify the problem. We are trying to quantify. We are trying to measure the intensity of the problem. Let us say rejection. Really, is the rejection is 5% or is it more than 5% or is it less than 5%? See, this is, like similar to a condition where, even though you communicate about your health challenges to a doctor, doctor will still proceed with the diagnosis. Am I right? Why he proceed with the diagnosis? He want to understand the real intensity of the problem. First of all, he wanted to validate the problem, and then he wanted to understand the intensity of the problem. And now when you are trying to understand the intensity of the problem, data comes into picture. Your data should be clean and credible. So it should be error-free, right? And that's where, it is quoted here. You should be able to measure the problem without error, so that the real baseline you will be able to understand, right? So that's called, the measure phase. And now there are 5 stages. Yes.
Sir. Sir, what
Yes,
is the
we-
express y in numbers? The defined phase.
Y is nothing but, your pain metric. You should be able to express the pain metric in the form of a number. It can be, the strength is not appropriate. The strength of your, concrete block is not appropriate. Now, what is the pain metric here? Strength is the pain metric. You want the strength at a particular level, which is not there. Now, that is why I want to improve the Y. I want to improve the strength. And why? The strength depends on many X factors. And it can be surface finish. It can be, the strength of a material, or it can be, any characteristics that you expect. All right. So any pain that you want to solve, you should be able to express it in the form of a number, nothing but the specification. This is what we call it CTQ, critical to quality, right? Anyway, we will be diving deeper in every step also. Phase wise, we will be going. So in define phase, there are 3 simple steps. First step is project identification. And that will be taught, right after I stop. Dr. Ravi Kumar is waiting. And then if there are many projects, how will you select the projects that are suitable for Six Sigma? Then you create a project charter, complete execution plan for a project. And similarly, measure phase, there are 3 steps. Analyze phase, there are 3 steps. Improve phase, there are 3 steps. Control phase, there are 3 steps. Totally how many steps? 15 steps, using which you can systematically eliminate defects, eliminate waste, and also reduce the risk. And you can use these steps so that you can fix any problem related to defects, waste, and then the risk. And there are so many tools, and I have done some mapping here. Define phase, there are certain tools. Measure phase, there are certain tools. Analyze phase, there are certain tools. Improve and control. And as an yellow belt, you will be learning some of them here as part of the yellow belt training program. However, if you could master all the 15 steps, also master, the majority of the tools, then, you are upgrading yourself to a green belt. Ultimately, your goal is problem solving. What kind of problem? Any problem mainly related to quality, right? And so that is what, the methodology is all about. And now tell me, let me just check before I hand over the session to Dr. Ravi Kumar, just another quick 2 minutes. What is the focus of Six Sigma? What is your option?
Problem solving.
No, here there are 2 options. Problem solving is definitely
Reduce defects.
reduce defects.
Reduce defects.
Six Sigma originated from which company?
Motorola.
Who is known as father of Six Sigma?
Bill Smith.
Bill Smith.
Then what is the focus of lean? Any idea? I did not.
Reduce waste.
Reduce
Very
waste.
good. Lean is reduce waste, right? Removing inefficiency is lean. Improving effectiveness is Six Sigma. All right. An organization want to improve their existing product. Which methodology they should use? Already product DMAI. What is the other name for DMADV? Any idea? I think I did not mention about it, right? DFS is designed for Six Sigma.
Define measurement.
Yes, designed for Six Sigma. So what is missing here in the list of 7 habits as per Stephen Covey?
All the
What is missing? There are 7 habits I spoke about.
Be
Proactive.
Proactiveness.
Begin with end.
Very good.
Goal.
Prioritize.
Listen to
get
Very good. Very good.
Listen to get listen.
Very good. Effectiveness means, what is your understanding about effectiveness?
To use
Ability?
just the required amount of resources.
No.
To produce defects without
defects. Defects.
Produce without defects. Offering defect-free services. Producing defect-free output, all are same. Ultimately, you are focusing on doing right things. And efficiency means consuming exactly required resources. Waste-free operations. Staying productive, right? That means you want to do right things in a right manner. The first one is called Six Sigma. The second one is called Lean. Of course, in any business, both are important. We need to do the right things, that too in a right manner. Because doing right things, producing right products will please the customer. But producing right products in a best manner, right manner will please the organization. And because profitability is also important, right? So this is what you will be mastering here in the subsequent sessions. So root cause analysis means root cause identification, root cause validation, root cause relationship, and root cause sufficiency, right? So I would like to stop here, and so that you can try to master the methodology phase by phase, right? So any question, or shall we move on to the define phase in detail now?
Dr. Gopal, will you get these presentations?
Yes, sir. It will be circulated. Yes, you will be getting it. Sure. So how to make an RCA for a compliant REST? Sindhu, you have posted a question. RCA for a compliant. Compliant is about, may I understand? Root cause analysis, I told you 4 things. Root cause identification, root cause validation, root cause relationship, root cause sufficiency. But even before coming to the analysis, you should have defined it well. You should have measured it well. Then only you should come to analyze. Then only you should proceed to improve. Then you proceed to control. Yes. So I'll be taking care of the questions in the chat box. Yes, Dr. Ravi Kumar, you can go through the define phase. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Siva. Let's go since we are far behind the schedule. Okay, guys, I think you had a lot of inputs, right? Give me a yes or no. Even though it's a late night, you have to respond. Otherwise, everybody will be sleeping. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so please respond. Then only I will came to know that you people are awake. Okay, guys. So I think you had a lot of
Yes,
stuff
sir.
covered in a short span of time. Okay, so now we are moving to the first step. Okay, first step in the DMAC methodology. So normally we use in methodology, we will follow a step-by-step procedure. So the first step in the DMAC methodology is the define phase. Okay, so what we are going to do in the define phase? Let us see a small intro first. Okay, this already you have seen me. Okay, you have Prabhakaran has read this introduction. Okay, so why this define phase is required? Why can't we go ahead and solve the problem directly? what is the purpose of defining the problem? Generally, it is the attitude of the people. If they find any problem, they will immediately go and try to solve it. They will leave all the steps which we follow in the DMAC methodology, and they will straight away go to the solution. That is a general human tendency. The chances of getting success in that particular defined to solution is only less than 10-15%. But if you follow this methodology, the chances of success is more. That is why all the renowned companies all around the world follow Lean Six Sigma. Okay, so why we need to define the problem? Okay, what is the importance? So to say this, I am going to pull one important scientist. How many of you know Albert Einstein? All of you know, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we know.
So one of you, could you please go ahead and read this for me? Guys, read this. Yes.
If I had 60 minutes to solve a problem and my
Yes.
life depends on it, I
Yes,
will
stop it,
spend
stop that.
55 minutes. Yeah.
Yes. If I had 60 minutes to solve a problem and my life depends on it, what does it mean? That if Dr. Albert Einstein was given 60 minutes to solve a problem, and if he doesn't solve it, then he may not be alive. That is the meaning. Then continue.
Yeah, I will spend 55 minutes to define the problem.
What does it? What do you infer from this sentence, from this statement?
Basically that I need to explore the problem rather than to go for solution.
See,
Yeah, first define problem.
identifying the problem is very important. If we are not able to identify the problem correctly, then the solution which we are going to receive at the solution which you are going to provide at the end is going to be wrong. See, let me say a simple example. For example, if a patient is going to a doctor, the doctor is trying to find out the problem, identify the problem. Instead of cancer, he defines instead of cancer in lungs, he says the problem is in heart. What kind of treatment the patient will be given? What will be the end? Anyone of you? It will be very tragic, right?
Yes.
Instead of identifying a problem in lungs, he has identified something in heart, and he is giving treatment for that. But the criticality is present in the lungs. So if the problem is identified incorrectly, and the entire course of path which you are going to proceed thereafter is going to be wrong. Okay, so identifying the problem is very critical. That is what even great people have emphasized on. So that is why we are going to put more importance. We are going to spend sufficient time on defining the problem. So what we are going to do in the define phase? First, we are going to identify the project of importance. See, in all organizations, in all companies or industries or any firms, there will be a lot of operational issues, strategy issues. So first, we need to identify which problem I have to solve. See, problem means that is an opportunity to do a project. See, identifying if there is a problem, then there is the opportunity to do a project to solve it. That is what is project we mean here. So first, we need to identify the project of importance for the organization. See, in spite of many problems, you have to choose a problem which will be beneficial for the organization. That is what the first objective means. Then understand the process boundaries. What is process boundaries? See, normally all organizations, if you look into the way which organizations work, see, everything will be working within a particular physical boundary. See, for example, on a timeline and a customer requirement. The process boundaries in the sense the fund allocated, the number of resources available, and the manpower available. All these things are process boundaries. You cannot go beyond that. For example, if you are asked to do a project, if you say, sir, I will do this project in 1 year, whether the management will allow? No, we cannot. The management will say, gentlemen, we cannot give this that much time. You have to complete it within 2 months. You have to complete it within 3 months. So we need to understand what are the resources available, what are the boundaries we have to work within, what is the time available for us to complete the project, and what is the customer requirement. The main thing that DMAC Lean Six Sigma, everything focuses on is customer requirement. So what is the need of the customer? Whether this project, is it satisfying the need of the customer, or it just simply done for the purpose of doing? You have to identify, understand that. So first you need to identify the problem which you have to solve. And it must be an important one. It must be beneficial to the organization if you should do it. Then you need to understand the boundaries within which you have to work. You need to understand the scope of work. Okay, you need to understand the scope of work. For example, if a person is doing a project in the manufacturing sector, if he wants certain data from the R&D, he cannot get it easily. He need to get prior permission. Okay, so all these things has to be understood and identified, and proper approval should be obtained in the initial stage itself. So understanding the process boundaries within which the project has to be worked out, and the time available, okay, and the period available, then that whether the project is satisfying the customer requirement, that is important. If a project is not satisfying the customer requirement, then obviously it is not going to be beneficial to the organization, right? All organizations are working to satisfy the customer, any type of organization, even it is a software or a manufacturing or automobile or a service industry, they are trying to satisfy the customer. So if we are not able to understand the customer requirement, and if a project doesn't addresses the customer requirement, then obviously it is not going to be beneficial to the organization. It is not going to generate more money. So we have to understand this. Then we have to develop a project charter. All of you know documentation is highly important in any organization. So once we identify the project, once we know the timeline, once we understand the budget, everything, we have to put that in the form of a document. That document is called project charter. Okay, so this is what we are going to do, and let us see how we can do this. So we are going to reach those objectives through the following steps. First, we are going to identify the project. Then we are going to a selection of the project. Then we are going to finalize the project through a proper document called project charter, along with the high level process map. So project identification, PI, project selection, PS, then project charter, PC. People, do you got it? Project identification, project selection, and project charter. Give me a yes or no. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let us see how we can identify project. Okay, you may have a question. How, sir, we can identify the project? So just to give a small intro, there are many tools. I think these tools are just brushed up by Dr. Siva also. Project charter is a tool. Kano model is a tool. PsyPark is a tool. You'll be learning some of these tools in this Yellow Belt program. If you want to know all of this, definitely you have to move to the next level. Okay, then prioritization matrix, to quality tree, affinity diagram, run chart, and expression y is equal to f of x. All these are simple tools, but it will be very effective when you are using it in a particular place, in a specific need. So let us see how we can identify the problem. So in DMAT, in define phase, what are the output you are going to achieve at the end of the define phase? We are going to identify everything, okay, from the beginning to the end. So what will be the deliverable? What will be the outcome at the end of the define phase? You would have selected a project, then you could have get an approved project charter. What is an approved project charter, guys? See, for example, you have prepared a proposal. If the proposal is not signed, will it be valid one?
No.
It should get, you should get proper signature. Then only the proposal can be submitted. It could move to the next level. So once you select the project, you need to develop a project charter. The project charter is a simple document. I will be teaching that in the coming slides. So it will be having all basic information about that particular project which you are going to execute. Okay, so that project charter must be approved by the top management of the company, because you need fund, you need manpower, you need time period, you need access to other department details. Sometimes you may need access to confidential materials, confidential information. So you need to get approval from the top management. You need to get approval from the chief finance controller, sometimes from the general manager, sometimes from the managing director. So the project charter should be approved. Okay, that is one of the important deliverables which you should achieve at the end of the defined phase. Then high level process map. What is this high level process map? Keep your doubts intact. I will answer this question later. Okay, so at the end of the defined phase, these three things should be achieved. Project must be selected. See, problem means project. If there is a problem, then it is an opportunity to do a project. Thereby you can solve it. Okay, project means problem is going to be solved by a project. Okay, so then you are going to get an approved project charter followed by a SIPOC or a high level process map. Okay, how to identify project? This is very important, guys. Normally, if you take any students or if you take any organizational people working in any organization level, they are not aware of how they can identify problems. You cannot identify problems just like that. You need to identify problems which will address the customer requirement, which will address the organizational requirement. Guys, I want to ask you a simple question. What is the purpose of existence of any organization?
To meet certain demands.
To make certain
Demands.
demands. Organization. Why there is an industry?
Customer satisfaction.
To satisfy customers. Yeah.
Wow. I think if Sweta starts a company, he will work only for customers. Okay, Sweta, you are starting a company. What will be
To
your
get more
vision?
profit.
Earn profit, to earn
Profit
One
profit by customer
So-
satisfaction.
Cost competitiveness.
Very simple, yeah, to make money. Do you think Ambani started Reliance Jio to serve customers? He
No,
wanted to
sir.
make, he wanted to make
No,
money.
sir.
Yeah. See, that is the simple purpose of existence of most of the organizations. Most of the private organization existence is purely money making. If they are running in loss, whether they will run the company.
no, sir.
See, take Ford. Some other some other branch plant is running in loss. So they closed two of their plants in India. They sold it out. One in Sanand and another one in Chennai. So no organization will run their company in loss. They simply want to make profit. Okay. So your project should be oriented with that. How? Your project must be oriented with the benefit of the company. How you can benefit, how you can make the organizational more successful, because all organizations are dependent upon some customers. Either they may be direct customers or indirect customers. So first priority is customers. So you can identify project or problem through customers. So we are going to use these three tools: VOC, VOB, and COPQ. Let me explain what are these things. Okay, so first, project identification. Let us see how we can identify the project, how we can select the project using VOC, VOB, and COPQ. After that, we are going for a project charter. Okay, first, you need to know this CTQ, CTB, and COPQ. Just leave it. Okay, first we will start with VOC. What is VOC? Voice of customer. Guys, what is this? Voice of customer. So customer is the foundation for any organization. If you have for example, if a person is having a very good restaurant, excellent, but no customers are coming, whether he will run the restaurant? No, he has to close it. So customer is the foundation for any organization. So you have to start identifying the problem, identifying the project from the voice of the customer. Okay, that is the first source for project identification. Then voice of business. Okay, all the organization want to make money. They want to reduce rejections. They want to reduce attrition. They want to reduce loss through inventory, loss through transportation, loss happening in various forms. They want to reduce the waste. They want to reduce the defects. So voice of business, that is the second source of identifying the projects. Then cost of poor quality. Okay, so these three methods will help you to identify the project. What is the meaning of project, gentlemen? Any one of you? What is the meaning of project?
If a problem is present, then you have that opportunity to solve that problem.
Yes,
And you can
excellent.
work on it. That is a project.
Yeah, Anurag Shah, excellent. Yeah, you guys are listening even after 9 or 10 o'clock. Unbelievable. Yeah, even nowadays students are not listening after 10 o'clock. Excellent. So I really appreciate your enthusiasm. So these three methods can be used to identify the project. It is an simple way, but it is an effective way. First, you look for what is the customer complaining about. What is the customer need? What is the customer recommend? Why the customer is fighting? Why the customer is complaining? That is the voice of the customer. Then what are the internal problems which exist within the organization? That is voice of business. Then cost of poor quality. What leads to poor quality products? We will see this in the coming slides. Don't worry. So this is how you can identify n number of projects, not one or two. You can identify a lot of projects. Okay. So let us see what is this VOC. See, in VOC, we are going to collect the requirement of the customer or the complaint of the customer through various sources. Sorry. So actually, there are two methods. One is a reactive system, another one is a proactive system. What is this reactive system? For example, let us say Anurag Shah is getting an Apple phone. Next day, from the next day onwards, the phone is not able to hold the charge for more than 2 hours. What will you do, Anurag Shah?
I'll have to buy another.
Come on, yeah.
No, sir, you
Raise the complaint.
Yeah,
raise the
Anurag Shah is quite very rich, so he will buy another phone and he will throw that old phone away. Just for joke. Yeah. So what will immediately he will get angry. See, do you know the first phone which was manufactured by Motorola, I believe, can hold charge only for 30 minutes. Imagine, it was the size of 1 feet and it can hold charge up to 30 minutes. So if Anurag Shah has purchased an Apple phone and it is holding charge only for 2 hours, the next day he will go to the Apple showroom and he will write a huge complaint. So this is a reactive way of collecting voice of the customer. That is customer complaining about your product or your service. That is the first source of collecting the customer voice. Then customer is calling. Okay, sometimes he may go to the showroom and he raise a complaint. He may go to the service center and raise a complaint. Next, the customer may call and scold the customer services heavily. Okay, then suppose if the sales is dropping. Okay, suppose if the sales of a particular product or if the number of customers are moving away from the service. For example, BSNL is many people are migrating from BSNL to other services. Why? Because they are not able to provide service. So that is one indirect way of collecting the voice of the customer. Then warranty claim. For example, if the product is not functioning well or if the product is not working well, then obviously the customer will try to submit the product for service, will surrender the product for service, or he will go for a claim. So these are all one way of collecting the voice of the customer. Or sometimes customers may nowadays write in the Twitter, social media like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. Okay, so recently a year back I purchased a laptop from HP and people are not responding. So I went and posted everything in the HP Twitter page. Immediately the HP customer manager from Noida called and problem was solved within 15 days. So these are the ways of collecting the voice of the customer. These are the ways of, for example, if you are going to the bank. Okay, so the bank is making you to wait for nearly 1 hour in the queue. Whether you will be happy? You won't be happy, right?
No, sir.
So at that time, if when there is a possibility, you will say your waiting time is more, gentleman. I doesn't want to continue having an account in your bank. I want to close it. You will say that. Okay. So that is the voice of the customer. Okay. This is the reactive voice of the customer. Whenever Shruti Mishra, could you please mute yourself? Shruti Mishra, please mute yourself. I think I don't have the. Shruti Mishra, could you please mute yourself? Dr. Siva? Okay, so this is reactive. Why it is called reactive? because you are providing a product or a service to the customer, and based upon the satisfaction or based upon the functionality of that particular product or service, customer is raising a complaint or giving appreciation. Okay, so it is a reactive one. Okay, then Shruti Mishra, are you able to hear me? Shruti Mishra, could you please mute yourself? Okay. So then proactive system, what is this proactive system? Instead of allowing the customer to come and provide the feedback, the company itself going to the customer doorstep. See, for example, if you go to any hotels or any if you go and book stay in any resorts, or if you travel in aircrafts, international aircrafts, they are asking for feedback, right? Even before you say something about the service, they are trying to collect the feedback from your end so that they can identify the errors and try to rectify that. So this is a proactive system, that even before you think about an error, the company is trying to collect the errors that could have happened, or try to collect the feedback, or try to collect your experience about that particular product or the service. So this is a proactive system of collecting the voice of customer. So the voice of customer can be collected through two means. One is reactive, that is based on the experience the customer receives after using the product or the service. Then another one is proactive. Even before the customer provides you the feedback, you go to the customer end and give a questionnaire and conduct an interview or have a survey, and you collect the feedback from the customer. This is a proactive system. Through this way, you will be able to identify the problem that exists in the particular service. For example, you are supplying a product. For example, say you are supplying a technical service to a organization, say internet service. Suppose every week you are asking a customer feedback. The customer says there is a slow internet on the particular time in every day, or there is some slow internet on the weekends. You can try to rectify it. Okay, you can do a project to rectify it, or you can try do something new to rectify the problem, and you can satisfy the customer. That is a proactive system. Or the customer calls you every week and says there is a problem in the internet, what kind of service you people are providing, I want my money back. That is a reactive system. Okay, so this through two ways will help you to collect the voice of the customer, the business. So customer is an external entity, but voice of the business means, see, inside the company, so many departments are working. HR department may be there. Okay, production may be there, testing may be there, transportation, inventory, okay, procurement, housekeeping, all these departments will be working in a connective manner, right? So they are working towards a benefit of the organization. In this case, if any one of this department is having the problem, and because of that all the companies, because of that, if the company growth is affected, you can do a project. Okay, you can identify the problem and do a project to solve that. That is voice of the business. That is to identify the problem within the organization itself. Okay, for example, there may be a inventory may be a huge problem. For example, if more finished products or if more raw materials are getting stocked in the godown, that is an inventory problem, because it will reduce the cash flow. More raw money is invested in the form of materials. Material is stagnating in the godown. It is a wastage of money. So that is an inventory problem. This is the voice of the business. Suppose if more employees are resigning and moving out of the company, that is the voice of business. Because, for example, let us say if you are having a company, okay, let us say if Arjun Gupta is having a company, 1,000 employees are working. All of a sudden, 150 employees are resigning and moving out in a peak time. What will happen, Arjun Gupta? You will be in high pressure, right? You will doesn't know how to manage the manpower requirement. That is the voice of the business. Okay, so you have to identify voice of the problems present inside the organization. That can also be done as a project. For example, I have given a small information. See, in Jan to March, this is 2022, the attrition rate for Cognizant CTS was nearly 21%. Imagine how much this can, how much it can create a lot of problem inside. The HR department will be under tremendous pressure. In fact, it will affect the projects. In fact, it will affect the delivery time of the projects. So this attrition is the voice of the business. Many employees resigning and moving out of the company in bulk number. So what the HR has to find out what is the problem exactly and how they can reduce the attrition rate. So voice of business is also an important source for identifying the project. Then cost of poor quality, because before going to the cost of poor quality, you need to know about this CTQ. What is this CTQ? I think Dr. Siva could have touched this. What is CTQ, guys? Anyone of you? Guys, all of you went to bed.
Characteristics.
Very good.
Critical to quality characteristics.
Quality. Okay, critical to quality characteristics. Okay, for example, if you are ordering on biryani or veg pulav in Swiggy, what is the critical to quality which you will expect from Swiggy or Zomato? Say any one of the
Food safety.
It should be
Delivery.
fresh.
On-time delivery.
yes, on-time delivery. So delivery time is a CTQ. Okay, delivery time is a CTQ. So from the voice of the customer, you are going to find out the CTQ. The voice of customer will always be vague, will always be less specific, will always be hard to measure. Okay, what we are going to do is we are going to convert the voice of the customer into a CTQ, because CTQ will be more specific and CTQ will be easy to measure. Let us see with a small example. For example, my friend is saying, my friend says, man, I want to meet a doctor, but I want a clinic with very good service. This is what normally people will say. Or sometimes people may say, I'm going to purchase a car. Yeah, I want a very good car. This is what normally customer will say. It is our responsibility. It is the industrial people, organizational experts' responsibility to convert that voice of the customer, which is less specific, which is not easy to measure, into a CTQ. How we can do that? See, if my friend says he wants a good service, that means he indirectly points out to two drivers. One is time, another one is cost. Okay, what does this driver time means? Because he refers to the waiting time and the consulting time with the doctor. He doesn't want to wait more than 5 minutes. Normally, it is a human tendency, right? He doesn't want to wait for more than for longer time anywhere. Wherever we are going, he doesn't want to wait. So, if my friend says, I want a good service, then he means he wants to wait less time and he wants to speak more time with the doctor. He wants to spend more than 10 minutes with the doctor so he can clarify all his doubts. Okay, so my friend said, I need a good service. So using the drivers, we have converted that into a more specific and easily measurable CTQ. See, now forgot the in-between drivers. Read this one. I need a good service. Whether it is understandable, whether you are able to measure it, no. What about this one? Waiting time should be less than 5 minutes. Consulting time should be more than 10 minutes. Which one is more understandable, guys? CTQ or VOC?
CTQ.
So it is our work to convert the VOC into CTQ. Then only we can do a project in that. If you simply look at the VOC, you cannot identify anything. So you have to convert that into CTQ. Okay, then let us come to the second driver, the cost. What does this cost mean? See, all of us doesn't want to spend more money, right? We doesn't want to give more money to doctor. So my friend said, okay, man, I can give around 500 rupees as a consulting fee. And suppose if I have to get admitted, I can spend around 2000 rupees per day. So if my friend said, I need a good service, if the customer said he wants a good service, he is meaning this only, time and money. You can add more. You can add more drivers. I have just for the sake of example, for the sake of understanding, I have included only two. Okay. So waiting time should be less than 5 minutes. Consulting time should be more than 10 minutes, and consulting fees should be around 500 rupees, bed charges should be around 2000 rupees. So it is our responsibility to convert that VOC into CTQ. So if the organization if they are not able to achieve this CTQ, then they can find that they are not able to satisfy the customer requirement, and they have to do some project to satisfy the customer. Okay. So first we need to collect the VOC, then we have to convert the VOC into CTQ. Similarly, VOB, voice of business, should be converted into CTB. That is critical to business. Okay. Then we come to the cost of poor quality. Okay, what is this cost of poor quality? Because before going to cost of poor quality, we need to know what is cost of quality. Okay, see, for example, there are nearly 78 people, including myself. Okay, at least 75 participants are there. You have invested your time, your money, your energy in improving your knowledge, right? Yes or no, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you have invested money in this. So that money is going to improve your quality for the goodness. It is cost of good quality. By learning this yellow belt, you are able to improve the quality of your process, or you are able to reduce the defects. So the money which you are investing is called cost of good quality. Okay, so any amount of money or time or energy which you are investing in prevention process, okay, or improving your quality process appraisal, it is called cost of good quality. What is this cost of poor quality? Let us see that in detail. Okay, so for example, as I said earlier, if you are attending a training program, if you are attending some surveys, or if you are collecting some you are doing some ISO auditings, all these things are prevention, error prevention process. So all the money, time invested in this is called cost of good quality. Okay, calibration, auditing, okay, testing, monitoring, controlling, planning, all this money invested in this process is called cost of good quality. For example, if you take any organization, they will say, sir, we are following QS standards. Okay, we are following ISO standards. See, for following the standards, the organization needs to invest a lot of money. If you enquire them, you will came to know they have to invest a lot and lots of money. If you go for education institution, they have to go for an accreditation process. If you go to industries, they have to follow certain standards, Deming standards, the TPM standards, QS standards. They will say so many standards. To achieve those standards, they have to invest a lot of money. They have to go for a lot of training. That is called cost of good quality. Why they are investing in cost of good quality? I will give you the answer at the end of the session. Okay, then what is this cost of poor quality? Okay, so as I said, preventive cost, anything which you invest to prevent a poor quality is called cost of good quality. So all these things, okay, all this training, quality improving training, procedures, protocols, pilot projects, process capability, calculations, all these things are cost of good quality. Okay, then what is this cost of poor quality? See, the cost of poor quality can be classified into two: internal failure and external failure. Okay, for example, suppose take a food industry. Okay, the food industry is packing breads. Okay, whole wheat breads. For example, let us say Anurag Shah, right? Okay, Anurag Shah is a manager. Accidentally, he checks a lot of 1,000 packets, and he found the bread is found to be infected by some fungus. What will you do, Anurag?
Sir, either I'll have to quarantine, reprocess, or reject the material.
Yes, that is internal failure. See, you have identified a problem in your process, you have identified the problem in your service or a product, and you have stopped it before the product is delivered to the customer end. That is an internal failure. The internal failure will lead to scrap or rework. As said by Anurag, he may try to reprocess and identify whether they can reuse it or they have to scrap it down. It may lead to loss of productivity. It may lead to loss of raw materials. Suppose if he has to reprocess again, it will lead to downtime. So, and already it has been stored in the ground for some time. So inventory cost was there. So this is internal failure. It is leading to a poor, because of poor quality, it is creating some cost to the organization. It is creating some loss to the organization. So this is cost of poor quality. Okay. Okay, this time Anurag Shah was on a leave. That particular lot of 1,000 breads went to the market. What will happen, guys? What will happen,
So
Anurag Shah? Sorry,
So
anybody can
customer
answer.
complaint. So
We'll
customer
need to
complaints
recall the product.
and recall the products. Product recall.
Can you name
Must will also.
name any one of the product which has undergone such a process in the past?
Maggie.
Nestle
Maggie.
Maggie. Nestle
Excellent
Maggie.
job.
Samsung mobile phones.
Yes,
About.
Samsung. Yes. So instead of money loss, what are the other loss they are occurring on that? What are other loss they are bearing because of
Consumer.
poor
Recall.
quality?
Recall.
So brand image, brand image.
Yes.
Brand.
Yes.
Brand image.
Goodwill.
Reputation. Yes, brand image loss,
Goodwill.
reputation loss.
Trust
Yes.
loss.
Yes,
Reputation.
trust loss, reputation, customer losses faith in the product. See,
Goodwill.
when a product is, when an organization faces an external failure, it is not only the money loss, the reputation image, the trust, the faith, the complaints, all these things will get accumulated. Okay, so it will cost the organization in a very huge manner. It is unmeasurable. You cannot measure it. See, the Nestle take another 2-3 years to build their reputation back. So many organizations have faced this kind of problem in the past, but they can come out, but it will take a lot of time. Okay, so cost of good quality is investing in preventing of error. Cost of poor quality occurs due to internal failure or external failure. If it is an internal failure, it is well and good. But if it is an external failure, it is going to kill you like anything. See, just a moment, I can show you an example of how this internal failure and external failure can affect you. Just a moment. So you can identify the projects first from VOC, then from VOB, then through cost of poor quality. So these three sources, three methods can help you to identify the projects very easily. Once you identify the project, you can go ahead and do a selection process. Just a moment. Guys, just see this. This is internal failure. This is external failure. Which one will be easier for you to handle?
Internal failure.
Internal.
So Velociraptor is okay or T-Rex is okay? Which one you are happy to face, Velociraptor or T-Rex?
Velocity.
First one.
Sir,
This
to be
smaller
honest,
one
sir,
is
One of
no
the-
one.
yes, smaller
To be
one.
honest,
So,
no one, sir.
so now you can imagine the magnitude of internal failure and external failure. So it is the work of an Lean Six Sigma Beltian to identify the internal failures, external failures, VOC, VOB, and do projects to solve it. Okay. Okay, now you have identified the project. Okay, through these three methods. Cost of poor quality. So earlier I said, why we need to invest more on cost of good quality, right? If you are investing more on cost of good quality, that is prevention cost and appraisal cost, then obviously the failure cost due to internal and external process will come down. Here you can see, if you are investing more on prevention cost and appraisal cost, why all MNCs are investing on standards and other accreditation process and standardization process? The reason is automatically the internal and external failure cost will come down. Okay, but you have to wait for some time patiently. that will give you a lot of benefit in the longer term. Most of the organization, they will look for short-term rewards. They want rewards immediately after within 6 months or 1 year. That is not possible in case of quality improvisation. If we wait for some time, obviously you'll be able to get good returns in a another long term. Okay. So now let us summarize. What are the 3 ways which you can identify project, guys?
So VOC,
Voice of
business,
voice
of
voice of business,
customer,
voice of
VOC,
customer,
VOB,
and
cost of
cost of
poor
cost
quality.
of
Poor quality.
poor quality.
Okay, how you can
Critical.
CTQ is a way of converting CTQ is a way of converting VOC into a measurable and more specific
CTQ.
data. Okay, voice of customer will always be less specific, hard to measure. CTQ will be more understandable and easy to measure. So you have to convert VOC into CTQ. Okay. So you can identify projects through any one of these 3 ways, and you can select the project, okay, through some of the tools like Pareto analysis or project prioritization. Okay, we will see that tomorrow. I think it's already 10:30. Before signing off, we will have a short question at time. Okay, if a customer segment complains about delay in responding to the queries in a bank, a metric that can be used to track the performance is
response time.
response time. You are going to a bank. It is taking 30 minutes, 45 minutes for the bank clerk or the waiter to respond to your query. Then the waiting time is more. The response time is more. So the response time is the answer. Okay. This one, if a customer segment complains about a longer transaction, a metric that can be used to track performance is
Transaction time.
Transaction
time. Yes, good. What is this? Someone of you read it and give me the answer.
So first one is VOB and second one
Voice
is
of business,
VOC.
And
VOB and VOC.
last one.
VOC.
All of you are saying it wrongly. Huh? VOB first.
voice of business, voice
Sir,
of
VOB and
Yes, VOB and VOC. Voice of
VOC.
business comes from within the business. Voice of customer is provided by the customer.
COP.
Yes, COPQ is not present here. VOB and VOC. VOC is provided by the customer. You are getting the feedback from the customer. No, that is VOC. VOB is originating within the business. Okay. Which of the following best describes the internal failure cause? Best describes the internal failure cause. Come on, guys.
The last one.
The
Last
one.
option.
The
So,
false
second
results
one,
from
sir.
the non-conformance detected before a product or
Guys,
service is provided.
please
So,
understand all the sentences are answers, but the question is which burst describes the internal failure. So
second one, unavoidable quality system cost associated with the production of any product or service.
First one.
So actually the last one is the answer, because the product, any non-conformance, any failure, if it is detected before a product or service is provided. That is, I said, no, before the product leaves or before the service leaves, if you are able to identify and stop it, that is internal. If it reaches, if it goes out of the company, that's it external. So all these things are associated with the internal failure, but this one is more associated. That is why we are choosing this. Okay, guys, that's all about the define step 1. We have 2 more steps and it will take another half an hour. I think you want to take a Saturday rest and wake up Sunday morning, right? So I think we can stop here. Any questions?